on tonight's session, it's a little bit complicated. So I'm going to hand out some papers. The test will be after this Kabbalah session. If you can levitate the table, then you have passed. You can use your hands, yes. So I'm going to pass that so you can follow along on tonight's topic. Okay? I'm going to have enough for everyone. Just it may take one for every 2 people.
I'm not saying no, I'm just seeing your hand.
Hey, Don, tell Malcolm I'll share one with you.
Okay. All right, I want to start with one of my favorite stories, one of the greatest stories ever told in history. So, does anyone here know the story of Oedipus? Okay, Oedipus is not just a complex that Freud made up. It is actually a story, and it's a great story. Who knows the story? Let me show you. Who knows the story here? Okay, well, so I'm going to retell you the story in a little bit of a different version, but basically the same idea. I want to go through the story of Oedipus a minute, because I need to see a very important lesson from the story of Oedipus. Here comes the basic storyline. The storyline is like this. There was a king of Thebes. His name was Laius. And the king of Thebes and his wife, they had a child. Okay? The child's born. The child's name is Oedipus. So, the child's name is Oedipus. Now, they go to the oracle. The oracle will tell the future. And the oracle says that this child Oedipus in the future will kill his father and marry his mother. Now that didn't make his father too happy, as you can well imagine. He wasn't a happy camper at that one. So what they decided to take little baby Oedipus and to go and to leave him to die on a mountain. They go and leave him on a mountain to die, and a shepherd finds Oedipus. And a shepherd takes Oedipus to the neighboring town called Corinth, and the king and queen of Corinth take this baby Oedipus. And they raise the child. And Oedipus grows up, and he thinks that these are his parents, the king and queen of Corinth. And as he gets older, he goes to the oracle. And he says, "Great oracle, tell me, what is my future?" The oracle says, "You will kill your father and marry your mother. It's your destiny, Luke. It's your destiny." Now, Oedipus does not like that. That perturbs him, right? So what does he do? He decides that he is going to run away from his fate. Okay? So he runs away and he heads towards the town of Thebes. Now, on the way, Oedipus gets into a little bit of an altercation. Okay? He's going down the road and he sees a guy in a carriage, the guy won't move, and he gets into a fight with the guy. Oedipus, being from Brooklyn, says to him, "Hey, move! Get my way, buddy!" The guy says, "You talking to me?" And one thing leads to another, and Oedipus pulls out his shotgun and kills this guy from Thebes. Now, Oedipus continues on his way. He runs into the Sphinx. The Sphinx is this monster that asks very hard questions, and if you can't answer it, you're tortured. Oedipus answers the question, and thereby he slays the monster Sphinx. Now, when he comes to Thebes, they hear, this is the guy, this guy, he slayed the monster. And as a reward for slaying this monster, he gets to marry the recently widowed queen of Thebes, whose husband was just killed by some nut from Brooklyn. Right? Okay? So Oedipus now marries this queen, who he doesn't know is who?
Mother.
Mother. And now Freud's having a party. Right? This is good. This is good. So now he marries him. Now there's a drought, the famine, and he doesn't know what's going on. He becomes the king. He goes now to the oracle and says, why is there a famine? Why is there a drought? What's happening? What have you done wrong? And the oracle says, because Luke, you have killed your father and married your mother. It's your destiny. And at that point, he blinds himself. His mother kills herself, and it's all great Greek tragedies all the happily ever after. Now, what lesson do we learn from that thesis, that idea of the Greeks? What lesson do you learn from the story of Oedipus? It's the Greek idea. You can't escape your fate. You can run, but you can't hide. If this is what your destiny is, then that's what's going to happen. Now, what does Judaism say about that? What do you think?
We're beyond that destiny.
So we don't believe in that? Okay. This is a very, very deep topic. Okay? I want to try to cover this tonight because the sages, the rabbis, had a big battle with the Greeks on many concepts. This is one of them. Okay? The Greeks said, you are fated. Okay? The word fates, the fates were actually 3 Greek goddesses that would spin out the thread of your life. And you cut the thread. And that's how long you live. The Greeks believed in the fates. You are destined. You can't escape your destiny.
Like Jonah.
What's that?
Jonah.
Jonah could or couldn't.
He couldn't escape. He tried to run, he couldn't escape.
Okay, so we have to see what we believe in this now. Let's go, let's see. Now, what I want to tell you, first of all, it's not so simple. Okay, it's really not so simple. I want to say there's a contradiction. The first statement is that the simple way to say it, is as we said before, is that Judaism says that free will is the most fundamental belief of Judaism. You have free will to choose. You are free in your actions. Okay? You want to go and give charity to someone? Could someone stop you? No. You're free. Now, are you totally free to give charity? If you don't cash, right? If you don't take checks, right? Or what?
American Express.
American Express, right. Or what happens if you go and you take the money out for a poor person, you want to give it to them, and they stick their hand out, and you put it and you miss, and the money falls down the sewer. It's gone. Now you intended to do it, but your action didn't come to fruition. But most times when you decide to do an action, it happens. You're free in your actions, generally speaking. Are you free in your speech?
No.
What does that mean?
In trouble.
What's
You get in trouble. You get in trouble, but it doesn't mean you're not free. It means you're free to get in trouble.
Well, your conscience rules that, doesn't it? I mean, you might want to say something, but your conscience tells you whether or not you should.
And who is your conscience? You. And here's a place where I want to show you that you're completely free. You have complete freedom in your mind. They have complete freedom. Because your actions are basically free, but you could try to do something that might not come to fruition. Sometimes words seem to, you mean to say one thing, something else comes out. So the sages tell us there are certain times where that might happen. You can excuse when you curse out your boss. So it wasn't me, it was an accomplished thing that happened. But it is true that sometimes, there's a person in Proverbs, sometimes God may make words come out of your mouth that you might not even have meant to. Sometimes, but usually not. One area where you're complete and totally free is how you relate to things. Okay? How you think about things. Let me give you an example. I tell my kids all the time this story my kids hate. My kids despise this story because you know how like when you have kids and like kids will all start fighting with each other And you'll say to the kid, you'll say, you know, why are you fighting with your sister? The kid says, she made me do it! She made me! What did she make me? She was like, making you, no, she made me! Why'd she make me?